I thought now would be a great time to take a break from my rankings and critique someone else's. Take a look at someone else's rankings. And I want you to give your opinion in the comment section below. Because I think I may have found the absolute worst, and I'm talking awful, terrible, atrocious, quarterback tiers of the 2023 offseason. And it's by none other than CBS for the public to see. One of the ugliest looking quarterback tiers of all time. So in this video, I'm going to react to Will's quarterback tiers. Gronk, spike the like button and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Let's go. All right, boys and girls, here they are. CBS's Will Brinson's quarterback tiers. Where do we begin? Let's just begin at the top. First of all, I get it. Patrick Mahomes, you don't want to have him by himself. But at this point, if we are going to allow people on social media, fans across the world, to claim that Patrick Mahomes is on par with some of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, even some outrageously stating that he's better than Tom Brady, can we not just have Patrick Mahomes in his tier by himself? Because if you're going to say that, and then you're also going to have Joe Burrow and Josh Allen in the same tier, it really doesn't make a lot of sense. So as much as I like Josh Allen and Joe Burrow, and I understand where Will is coming from here, I do believe that Patrick Mahomes deserves a tier by himself. After that, you have Burrow and Allen, which I feel is pretty solid to be in a tier 2 below Patrick Mahomes. And then the next tier, I actually think is very solid. The only name I would say right there that maybe is a little early is Trevor Lawrence to place in that tier. But I totally get it based on what he showcased last year, especially late last year. And trending forward, he should be in that tier. So I get it. Tier 2 is nice. I'm with it. Then we get to the dreaded tier 3, which is really where all of my questions lie. Not all of them, but most of them. So you have Aaron Rodgers in tier 3. Now, when we look at who else is in tier 3, may I ask, why is Aaron Rodgers in this tier? Aaron Rodgers is in a tier with Justin Fields. Can we think about that for a second? We have Aaron Rodgers, a quarterback who won back-to-back MVPs before last season, a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest of all time. And many would say that last year it was more about the situation than the talent in Aaron Rodgers. And we have him with a quarterback who can barely throw the forward pass. And we have him with the quarterback who there is none worse at running into pressure and taking sacks than Justin Fields. Justin Fields is a completely raw quarterback at this point. It makes absolutely no sense for these two to be in the same category. They are so far apart. They are in different worlds, okay? It's ridiculous. But not only that, why is Aaron Rodgers in the same tier as guys like Russell Wilson, who was absolutely putrid last year? Like, Aaron Rodgers wasn't Aaron Rodgers last year, but he wasn't one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL, which absolutely Russell Wilson was. I don't care what you have to say about, oh, Russell Wilson was great all those years before that. The guy was so bad last year. Like, incredibly awful. Statistically speaking, one of the 5 worst quarterbacks in football. It was actually hard for me to rank him above 25th in my quarterback rankings. And I understand a bounce back could be coming. I respect Matthew Stafford's inclusion here, but I also believe trending forward, this is a guy that's extremely unreliable when it comes to staying healthy, and I do think his best days we have seen come and go. Tua is a guy, same thing could be said about the injuries. I understand why Tua would be here from a statistical production standpoint. From an actual skill standpoint, I think Tua's in a perfect situation in Miami. And if you put him anywhere else, I don't think he would be the same player. So it depends how you're ranking this. Because when you look at it, how is Tua in a tier above a Jared Goff, in a tier above Dak Prescott, in a tier above Geno Smith, in a tier above Kirk Cousins? I mean, it's certainly not because of talent. It's certainly not because of consistency. Tua's only had one good season in his career. It's certainly not because of, staying on the field and being productive and winning games. I mean, how is Kirk Cousins in tier 4 and Tua is in tier 3? Someone please explain that to me when Kirk Cousins won how many games last year? 13? And he came back in like 8 of them to win the game? Daniel Jones being above guys like Dak Prescott, being above guys like Kirk Cousins. He should be closer to Geno Smith. Both have had one good season in the NFL. Deshaun Watson is a total wild card, so I'll throw that one out there. But I think tier 3 is a complete issue. I actually think tier 4 is closer to being the tier 3 than tier 3 is being tier 3. Other than Aaron Rodgers. Like, I would completely swap those two tiers, and I still don't think Justin Fields belongs to be in tier 4. Maybe not even tier 5. I think he's the most overrated player in the NFL, and I've said that a few times already, and I don't mean to beat this into the ground, but I just feel like people are outrageous with these takes because they watch the highlight reel and they don't actually see what the guy brings to the team as a quarterback. Now, we look at tier 4 even deeper here. Jared Goff deserves to be higher. I'm not the biggest Jared Goff fan, but he certainly was a top 12 quarterback last year, and some would say he was top 10, and I would argue he's going to have a great year next year. Dak Prescott, yes, had a down year, but how many years in a row was he a top 12, top 10 quarterback? If you're going to give Russell Wilson that leeway, I think we got to give Dak Prescott the same, given that Dak Prescott did not regress to the point that Russell Wilson did last year. Kirk Cousins, I already spoke about, probably the most underrated player in the NFL. People just make fun of him because he's kind of a nerd. But other than that, he's a good player. I honestly think at this point, Derek Carr is overrated. I think he should be lower. Based on last year, in my opinion, he was one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL last year. Like, in the bottom 7, I would say. We saw a drastic difference between the production of the offense when Jarrett Stidham entered the offense. Just the way that it was running, the eye test. Jarrett Stidham was an improvement over Derek Carr. Ryan Tannehill, I respect. Jimmy Garoppolo, I respect. Their inclusion in that tier. Tier number 5. I get this tier. Like, I understand it. Mac, Kenny Pickett, Brock Purdy. I will ask you one question. If all 3 of those players were on Miami and Tua was on New England, Pittsburgh, and I guess San Francisco is kind of the same. But if Mac and Kenny were in Miami, where would they rank in comparison to Tua? I'm just throwing that out there because as far as I've seen it, we've seen Mac have one really good year as a rookie, take his team to the playoffs, go to the Pro Bowl, and we've seen one season of not so great, and that was surrounded by asterisks, and he's never had a good offensive situation. So I think Mac Jones currently is underrated. And I'm not just saying that as a Patriots fan. I think that is pretty clear to see for anybody without bias here. Kenny Pickett, I think showed flashes as a rookie. I think it's very fair to put him in this tier with Brock Purdy as well. I'm also high on Brock Purdy, but they have not shown enough quite yet to place them any higher on the list, so I understand it. I would also take both of them over Justin Fields. Tier number 6, Kyler Murray. A lot of people are responding to this saying, what is going on? Why is Kyler Murray sliding down every single quarterback ranking so disrespectfully? And I agree with most of those people. Am I one of those people that think Kyler's a top 10, top 12 quarterback? No. But to put him in tier 6 with a guy like Baker Mayfield, who's missing people in practice, Sam Howell, who's played one game, Desmond Ridder, And Jordan Love, like, I really like Jordan Love, and you guys know that, but to put Kyler Murray in that tier is absolutely ludicrous. Like, Kyler Murray for 2 years at least, maybe not last year because he was kind of beat up and was on a terrible football team, and he's never had a good coaching situation, never had a good offensive line, has never really had competent around him. Kyler Murray is not a tier 6 quarterback. At his worst, he's not a tier 6 quarterback. He's too talented physically to be a tier 6 quarterback. He's at the very least tier 4. He's right in line with those Ryan Tannehill types. And in a good situation, I do believe he's a good quarterback. And at times, he's an electrifying playmaker. So maybe he's not the most consistent, but his highs are very high. You can't place that in tier number 6. It's ridiculous. Baker Mayfield is terrible. Desmond Ridder is awful. How do you have these guys in the same tier as Kyler Murray is beyond me, and Sam Howell may have a good future. We have really never seen him play. And then tier 7, we've got the rookies, which, by the way, I would take both Bryce Young and CJ Stroud above numerous names, and I'm willing to say that right now. I am. So I don't care about them being rookies. That's where your evaluation of quarterbacks should come into play, and you should be willing to make a statement about rookies. I don't like when people simply say they're rookies, we've never seen them play at all, and they stink. At least make a statement about what you think. If you think they suck, like, I'd have Richardson near the bottom of the list. I have questions about him. About Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, I think they're going to be good football players. Pretty good quarterbacks. Maybe not great, but pretty good. So I'd place them a little bit higher than that. So, I mean, this is a terrible tier list. There are people in CBS that I don't know how many names or people actually looked at this before they published it. But hey, man, send your list to me before you put them up, and I'll make sure that they're all good to go. Because I can guarantee you that the BLV community does not like this list either, and they're going to let you know in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching this video and this reaction. Appreciate it. Gronk spike the like button. A lot more content to come for the rest of the offseason. Really appreciate all the support. See you in the next one. Peace.